Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and if you are looking for an awesome 80s style shred guitar, this is going to be one of your best bang for your buck choices. So this is the Jackson DK2XR. This is from the Jackson X series, and this goes for right around $500. Now this actual guitar right here is not mine. I borrowed this from my brother-in-law Steve. It's one of the many awesome guitars from his collection. You guys might recall a few years ago I did a review of a Chris Broderick signature Jackson, and also a really cool old school, very old school Ibanez Jim, and both of those guitars were his as well. So big shout out to my brother-in-law Steve for letting me do this review. Now first, just look at this guitar. A cobalt blue body with a matching headstock and hot pink pickups. And look at this, even here up on the headstock, which is a reverse headstock, which I absolutely love. And it also kind of separates this guitar from other budget Jackson guitars. But look up here on the headstock, they even painted the Jackson logo to match the pickups. So the styling of this guitar is awesome, and it's important to know that they make this guitar in several different colors and also two different pickup configurations. This one here, of course, is an HH double humbucker configuration, but they also make it in a humbucker single. Personally, I prefer the two humbuckers. I'm never a big fan of middle pickups. Some people like them though, but it's cool that they have a couple of different options to choose from. And then check out these different colors. The blue, of course, is awesome, and I also really love the yellow, but they've got quite a few choices, and I think they all go for right around the same price. Some of them might be a little bit more expensive because they didn't make as many of them, but they're all right around that $500 mark. Now features and spec-wise, this is pretty straightforward. It's a poplar body. It's a bolt-on maple neck and Indian laurel fretboard. Of course, we already talked about the awesome reverse headstock. Standard Jackson tuners, and also a Jackson branded Floyd Rose style trem, which we'll talk more about later on. Jackson branded pickups, although unlike some of the other ones, these don't have the Jackson logo on them. You know, obviously they have them in the different colors depending on the color of the guitar. And 24 nice big extra jumbo frets. As far as controls, it's a standard single volume, single tone, three-way pickup selector. So it's just overall, you know, a very standard Super Strat style guitar. Now, aside from the looks, I think the real standout feature of this guitar is the neck, because I can just grab this and I can feel it, and it speaks to me, and it says, "Yo, bro, let's shred." But to be a little bit more technical, yes, it has the satin finish on the back of the neck, which I always love, really, really smooth. But this is an extremely thin neck, very thin, very flat. Both the fretboard is flat, the radius, and also the profile of the neck. It's like a thin D-shaped neck. A thin, smooth neck with 24 jumbo frets, like any self-respecting shred guitar. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the neck after I've had more of a chance to play the guitar. So I'll go ahead and plug this in and we can hear how it sounds. But real quick, guys, as always, if you enjoy videos like this, if you enjoy checking out cool new guitars, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay guys, I'm just itching to play this thing, so let's go ahead and plug it in and take a listen. So obviously I've got a super 80s tone that I'm using here with the amplifier. The amplifier I'm using is my Fender GTX 100, and I've got like a flanger on there and, you know, stereo delay and that kind of stuff, so to get that really crazy 80s tone. But the thing I notice about this is the bridge pickup in particular has a really great, you know, very focused mid-range, really nice, aggressive mid-range tone to it. So it really helps to get those 80s tones. And the other thing is this neck is super, super responsive. Not to dwell too much on the neck here, but this guitar is so sensitive. I mean, it really encourages you to play like hammer-on pull-off stuff and legato playing and that kind of thing. Okay, so let me go through a few other tones with the amplifier so we can, you know, hear a little bit more variety with this guitar. And of course, we have to do at least a little bit of clean playing for all of those heartfelt power ballads that you're going to do with this guitar. Okay, so there's a few other things I want to talk about with this guitar. One of them is the weight of the guitar. It's 7.5 pounds. I weighed this, and it was like 7.48 or something, you know, right around there. So again, you know, features and spec-wise, including the weight, pretty standard for a Super Strat like this. Obviously, I love the neck on this guitar. I really do love the neck on this guitar. I mean, there's much more expensive guitars that I wish had this neck on them. Now, as far as the sound, the bridge pickup I really liked. It has a really nice crunchy bite to it, very good note articulation. The neck pickup was acceptable, but not great. I think this is probably a guitar that in some ways is a really good platform for doing mods, where you want a guitar that has the right look and the right just sort of foundational specs, right? You can get this guitar and then maybe swap out a few things like the pickups and the bridge, and then, you know, for not too much more money, have yourself just an awesome, awesome 80s inspired shred guitar. Now, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the neck pickup, but it's not terrible. But I think really the weakest link of this guitar is going to be the bridge. And this is just an issue that comes up on like the Jackson, the JS series, and even some of the X series guitars like this one. They're using these Jackson by Floyd Rose bridges. So this is sort of the equivalent to what used to be considered like a licensed Floyd Rose, right? And it's, you know, it does the job, but it is definitely made to looser tolerances than like a really nice Floyd Rose 1000 series, or, you know, an OFR original Floyd Rose or something like that. The issues with these bridges, you know, usually the arm is going to be a little bit loose, or it'll loosen up on you as you're playing. Sometimes the fine tuners can be really stiff, or they can get stuck. The other issue that I run into a lot with these bridges is actually up here on the nut. Sometimes the locking clamps up here are a little bit undersized where they fit into the retaining edge of the nuts here. And so these can kind of twist when you tighten them down. And when they twist, it pulls the string out of tune. So what will happen, this is very common, is you tune the guitar with your normal tuners, you get it all perfect, then you tighten these down, and then everything's out of tune, and then you have to retune with the fine tuners. Now, a little bit of that is not a problem, and a little bit of it really is to be expected on a lot of Floyd Rose equipped guitars. But some of these you know, Floyd Rose or Jackson by Floyd Rose bridges with these nuts, they seem to be a little bit worse in that regard. But honestly, guys, other than that, this is a really awesome guitar. So, you know, perhaps you could change the pickups, and of course, you know, you can find some pickup companies out there that make pickups in like hot pink finishes and that kind of stuff, and a lot of companies do that. So maybe you could change the pickups, the neck pickup in particular. But I think the real big thing that you might want to consider upgrading would be the bridge. But once you've done that, this is an awesome guitar. And I would not change anything about this neck. I mean, I love this neck. Okay, now something else to consider here is this guitar is, like I said, right around $500, and is a really good choice if you're looking for like a really blatantly 80s inspired guitar. Another good choice would be the Kramer Pacer Classic, which is in the same price range and very similar specs. You know, it's got a Floyd Rose style bridge, it's got the maple neck and that kind of stuff, and it's, you know, they make it in really like loud 80s colors. The only difference off the top of my head is that those guitars only have 22 fret necks, and I think even the frets are like a medium jumbo as opposed to these, which is like an extra jumbo. These are really, really big frets. And for me, I definitely do prefer to have the full 2-octave 24 fret fretboard like this guitar has. Now these guitars, these DK2XR models, and then there's the 3XR, which I think is the one with the 3 pickups on it, right? The humbucker single pickups. So these guitars are pretty new. So is there anybody out there that has bought one of these? And if so, what do you think of it? What has your ownership experience been like? So guys, as usual, I'll put links down in the video description below if you want to check out more about these guitars. This one, I need to give back to Steve. But again, thanks, Steve, for letting me review this. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. In addition to the link down there for the guitar, I'll have a link for the amplifier I was using. That's the Fender GTX 100, as well as stuff for all my social media and new instructional programs and that kind of thing. Thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you soon.